Right, guys, it's time to talk about strikers. They're really important, and they can lead to you winning a title. Case in point being Erling Haaland, 36 goals in 38 games last season. We're not going to touch on him for too long. We know he can score goals. That's been proven, okay? Need more details on that, go elsewhere. This isn't the video for you. But if you are thinking that Jesus could be that guy, Son could be that guy, Darwin Nunez could be that guy to fire the other guys to the title up against Man City, then this is the video for you. So, can Jesus, Son and Darwin Nunez score enough goals to get their teams to the title? Where would you like to begin here, guys? Do you want to go Jesus, Son or Nunez?
Let's start with Nunez. I think he's the most exciting player, just the way he plays football. We were just saying just a minute ago that he is... I think if you take all the levels of it out in terms of what it means, his goals, everything, and just watching a single player play football, I think he's so much fun to watch. Mainly because you've got no idea what he's going to do. And I think he has no idea what he's going to do as well. And that's what makes it kind of work for him.
Is fun a positive word?
That's a good question. It's a good question. I think what we've seen as well, I do think we've seen somebody grow up a little bit from last year as well, and I think partially due to him getting this kind of coaching from Bielsa. We've also heard as well that Nubaid was telling us that he's been speaking with Luis Suarez as well, which is not a bad person to learn from as well.
Style of play of the team as well, I think. You've seen a change in Salah a little bit.
Very true.
All roads sort of lead to him a little bit more, or a central striker at least.
There was actually a quote from Firmino earlier this week where he said when Klopp first got Salah was so greedy and we found him really frustrating. And he said, as Salah's grown older and as I was fading out the side, Klopp would say to Salah, you need to become our creative engine. And you're sort of seeing that now. And now Salah has someone to create for, because Nunez is always in the box. Whereas before Firmino, you give it to Firmino, he's not going to go in the box. So I think that's probably an angle where now you're seeing Darwin's probably getting more joy in the penalty area than what he was last season.
Right. Because I think what's interesting here is, if you think of the last few years, so last year Man City got 94 goals. The season before that they got 99. Arsenal had something around 84, I want to say, something like 88 goals maybe last year. So it kind of wasn't enough, obviously. And Liverpool, the season before, when they challenged Man City, they had 94 goals. But they had Sadio Mane getting, I think, over 20, Salah getting over 20, and Jota got 15 as well. So this is a very nuanced conversation in the fact that it's not going to be just one guy. You need other guys to sort of chip in. And if you think of the Man City team before Haaland, you had De Bruyne being top scorer and Gundogan being top scorer. But I think if Mo Salah is going to be the guy who's the top scorer for Liverpool, you still need two other guys. And Jota's still there, capable of getting 15 goals. Or certainly him and Gakpo or Luis Diaz, between the two of them, certainly capable of getting 15 goals. But Darwin Nunez someone needs to fill in that Mane gap in terms of goals. So he does need to score a lot of goals for them to do something. He does. And
I think what's really tough with Nunez is because he'll take chances that are really difficult and put them in the back of the net. I think was it Bournemouth where he curls one in outside of the box, and he has that ability to shoot from outside the box. He loves that shot, in fact, that kind of right foot curl to try and find that top right hand corner. The issue I think you find sometimes is then when he has opportunities to kind of just do a tap in, he makes it look really difficult. He scored one a couple of weeks ago that almost missed, actually. It went so high it was almost hitting off the top of the crossbar and back in. But you've got someone there who still is young, still is learning. He's under a great manager to learn under, who's proven that he can take players and develop them into proven goal scorers. Sadio Mane being one of them, and to give them that step up. And I think what's really good about Liverpool's attack is the pressure isn't on Nunez, essentially. It can be a bit on Gakpo. It can be a little bit on Jota, Diaz. It can be a little bit on, a lot on Salah, who's obviously proving it time and time again. But also, you see some of the other guys sometimes pop up. Harvey Elliott pops up. Szoboszlai will pop up. There's so many players there that can put that ball in the back of the net. And so it doesn't mean that Nunez has to land on his feet this season or last season. I think by next season, though, we do need to probably start seeing him become that guy.
If Liverpool are to win the league, though, they will need the second guy. Yeah, and I think out of the Jota, Gakpo, Nunez, I feel like I've missed one.
Diaz.
Out of them four, I think it will be Nunez. Or it certainly has to be. I was just looking at his stats here. 4 goals, 6 assists in the league. He's averaging a goal or assist every 60 minutes in a game. So he's the one that's impacting the games, actually, if it's not Salah. So if Liverpool are to win the league, the answer to the question would be Nunez is the guy that could fire them there.
I guess one thing to touch on as well is if you think of that team that scored all those goals because of the front three, the other midfielders didn't really contribute. Yeah. So that takes a little bit of pressure off him as well. Let's move on to Jesus, who I don't know if anyone was on Twitter or X or whatever you're calling it this week. Jesus, there's a quote on Jesus. I'm thinking that can't be real, but it does seem to be ever. And he was suggesting what, Nubaid?
I'm not suggesting.
No, you're not suggesting, but he was suggesting.
Gabriel Jesus in this quote says, "Goals are not my strong point." Zach, what number does he wear on his back?
I think the number 9.
When he was at City, he's previously said something similar, and when it seems to be whenever he goes off with Brazil, someone's telling him you're not a goal scorer. The worry here is he's the number 9. He's at Arsenal, and Arsenal definitely bought in Jesus to win the league. There's no hiding away from that. Is he the guy that needs to score most of their goals? I think so.
I guess let's go down the similar road. If you think about, say, Firmino with Liverpool, right? And you think Arsenal, say Jesus is a Firmino. Which I think is kind because he's obviously a different kind of player. But if you think about Martinelli and Saka and how important they are and both capable of scoring 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 goals, possibly if they're really running hot. And Odegaard last year provided the 15 that Jota provided. You are getting yourself close there. But again, he needs... That's... hopefully it's something that's been lost in translation, but that's not something that Arsenal fans, despite a lot of them trying to sort of pander to that comment, that's not the kind of comment you want to hear. Do you believe that he's capable of scoring 20 goals in the season?
No, I think he's capable of having 20 goals, golden assists, 25 golden assists, to be quite honest. Like, he does give that capability to the wingers. I think last year he was still decent up top, and he missed a large part of the Premier League season due to injury as well, off of the back of the World Cup. And I think Mikel Arteta, you see with the way he plays his football, he's not asking Jesus to be this Haaland figure. He's if anything, he's very much asking him to be the more kind of Firmino figure for Liverpool during that iconic front three. I still think he would want more. And again, he has those issues sometimes of missing the chances that a Haaland would put away very easily, which is where football's such a reactionary sport where it takes one chance miss like that for the online debate to be like, okay, he's not good enough. Yeah. And I think what's a really damning factor is you see Arsenal fans have a debate quite a lot to be like, well, we need to go get Victor Osimhen to really help us win this league. And
but Jesus was the upgrade.
Exactly.
Exactly. How many times do you keep upgrading the same position?
I love him as a player, but I agree. I think also, again, if you think of the goals elsewhere, where the goals from Havertz, you're kind of leaning on Trossard a lot at the moment. And I think overall the style of play for Arsenal is a problem that wouldn't facilitate Jesus getting himself 20 goals this year. And so that is a bit of a problem for them right now. Last one, Heung-min Son. I've got to be honest, and I left him last for a reason. I can see Heung-min Son scoring 30 goals this season.
League goals?
Yeah.
Ooh. But I don't know, now with all the injuries they've got, I think it becomes...
It's going to have to be a minute.
That's the issue, is we've mentioned a lot of the other teams say that, they've got two other players that can score 15 or so. I don't know if Spurs really do.
You get that creation.
Yeah,
right.
like you are.
So with Son, right, he scored 8 goals from his XG of 4.2. Now you can spin XG either way. Either he's running really hot or he's really hot.
He's always been like that, though. He's always been someone that overperforms.
He's an XG buster. In the words of James Allcott, he's an XG buster. But the thing I would say on the Son point is he's changed his role this season.
Yeah.
And so now a lot of his finishes are first time, one touch finish, whereas previously it'd be Son gets on the left, can he link up with someone to score? He's almost like doesn't need a link up man anymore. He's lurking at the back post, he's tapping them in, a little bit like Sterling at Man City. And he did start to edge towards the bigger numbers. He has hit 23 in a season, but 30.
I've gone big.
It's a lot of goals.
That does sound like a lot. I know it does.
You've gone.
He's going to be crucial. I can definitely see it. I really, really can see it. Of those three, if you've got one guy and he has to play centre forward for the whole season, it's Son, right?
Do you think
in a dream team?
In like any of these teams, if you had to any group of fans who are Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool fans,
who do you want to be your striker?
Which one of these three would you like to be your 9?
I think Son. I think Son for sure.
He's the best finisher in the league.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I think Ange Postecoglou said a really interesting thing that he was like, I studied Cristiano Ronaldo's move from left wing into a striker, and I want Son to have this same development. And,
Bet you do.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you're seeing a little bit of that, of it becoming this kind of number 9 now for Spurs, and very much not. In fact, when you actually saw him play left wing this season, he looked like the Son of last year.
Yeah.
The second he goes back to the striker, he's now
I think there's definitely a physical decline there in terms of he used to burst to the byline and then jink back. And last season, I think he was might not be physical, might just be maybe it's a mental block or something. But as a 9, he's not getting asked to do that anymore. But do you think that many goals can get Spurs the title? That's the question.
I think if he can score 40, then the title
You nearly
is
turned back on
yours, man. It's yours. So yeah, short answer. I don't think any of them will score enough goals to get their team the title. Would we all agree on that?
I think when you're up against Erling Haaland, I think sadly that is the answer.
Okay. But you're so of those 3, we'll finish off this one for the comments, guys. So Son, Nunez, and Jesus. Which one are you picking? If you can only have one as a central striker.
For this season, Heung-min Son. For the future,
You absolute
Nunez.
wimp, Nubaid.
Son, every day.
Thank you. The correct answer is Son. Let me know if you think differently down in the comments.